How's it going, guys? This is Halcyon, and I'm here with yet another Pokebank OU match. This time, we've got a clash of the titans, so to speak. We've got Hyper Offense and Stall going at it. My team is just the team from the last video. It's the Deoxys Speed Hyper Offense that I've been working on with Bisharp and Manaphy. And, of course, Mega Garchomp. Can't forget Mega Garchomp. And my opponent's bringing a nice Stall team, which you don't really see too many of those in this metagame, just because with Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Lucario, it's basically impossible. Although I will say that Quagsire is a decent check to Lucario. But anyway, let's get right into the match. So I am, of course, going to lead off with my Deoxys Speed. Then he leads off with his Skarmory. So here I'm going to go for the Taunt, just in case he wants to set up his own hazards, but he's a smart player, and he goes for the Brave Bird instead to do some damage to me. Probably predicting the Taunt. Now, here I know that he's locked into Taunt, or locked into Brave Bird, essentially. So I'm just going to get some nice recoil damage on him with my Garchomp, and I know that I can scare him out with the Fire Blast. He sends in his Quagsire, and that's really bad for me, because I can't really do much to him, and I don't want to get burned at all. But this does give me a great opportunity, because I can send in my Manaphy now, and I guess he predicted that because he goes right for the Toxic. And here, I know I can bait the Chansey to switch in, and I can go into my Bisharp, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to set up. So, I'm able to go for the Swords Dance, and, oh no, I'm sorry, I go for Knockoff, which is actually better, because I know that if I can remove the items from his Pokemon, then this is going to be a much easier battle. So I go for the Swords Dance, and then I go for another knockoff. He sends in his Quagsire, which is a great play, but I am able to knock off his leftovers, which is good for me. Here I actually forgot that knockoff doesn't do the same amount of damage if they don't have an item. So I actually go for the knockoff again, thinking that I would take him out, and I don't. So I just go back in my Deoxys Speed, set up my rocks, set up a layer of spikes. That's great for me. Now, two of his Pokemon don't have leftovers, and I have my hazards up. I have my my Bisharp too, in case he wants to defog. But here I go into my Manaphy, and I think he's going to predict me to switch into my Bisharp again, but I'm just going to go right for the Energy Ball. He really had no reason not to switch in his Chansey, to be honest. There was no way that my Bisharp would be able to break through his Quagsire. So even if I had doubled into my Bisharp, then he could have just gone right back into Quagsire. And I wouldn't have been able to do anything. But anyway, so I just send in my Aegislash because I know there's not a whole lot this Chansey can do to me. And I'm going to go right for the Shadow Ball predicting switch. And he goes into a Heatran, which is not good because it takes only like 38% from Shadow Ball, and he threatens me out. And so I go back into my Manaphy, and he does a nice play. He goes for the Roar. And he roars me out into Genesect, which is terrible, but I don't really need Genesect in this match, so I'm just going to try to get some chip damage on him. The Thunderbolt doesn't do as much as I thought it would, but it's some damage, so it's whatever. Here, I'm going to my Mega Garchomp, because Mega Garchomp is just so powerful, and it actually has a pretty good matchup against the rest of his team, considering how weak Skarmory is, not to mention the fact that I have Fire Blast. Now I go for the Stone Edge here, in case he wanted to switch in his Heatran or his Chansey, which was stupid. I should have just gone for the Fire Blast. There was no reason for me to go Stone Edge, but I do, and it ends up missing, and then I just take him out with a Fire Blast next turn. He goes on to his Mega Venusaur, and I'm just going to Earthquake, and he synthesizes, and it does like no damage. My Earthquake does nothing. I really thought that it would be doing more than it did, but anyway, he ends up going for the Earthquake this turn. I guess predicting me to switch in my Aegislash, but I would have just gone Synthesis anyway, so that's two pretty big misplays that he's made that have cost him his Quagsire and his Venusaur. So he sends in his Cofagrigus and goes for the Will-O-Wisp, but I still do like close to half with an Earthquake, so this thing is basically dead. And at this point I know I can just go into my Bisharp, go for the knockoff, take that thing out. And even though I lose my ability, there's nothing on his team that can really like do anything to me, so that's fine. I just go for another knockoff. The crit did matter, but at the same time, I could have just won with the combination uh, of Manaphy and Aegislash because um, he wouldn't have been able to, even though the crit did matter, he would have been at a low enough health that he couldn't have switched out his Etran again, or he would have died to the Stealth Rock and Spikes. So I could have just sent in my Manaphy after Bisharp had died, and he would have been forced to sacrifice it. And once his Heatran was gone, I could have easily killed his Chansey with my Aegislash because it does no Sacred Sword, and it definitely could have worn it down. And he could not have touched me, so it would have just ended up being a PP stall, if anything, and I think I would have won it. So, that was the match. I thought it was pretty good. Bisharp putting in some nice work, getting that knockoff on just about everything on his team. Hitting, what did he hit? He hit Quagsire and Skarmory, which is huge, taking out their source of recovery. Finally, KOing the Copper Regis and the Heatran. So Bisharp is freaking amazing. I know that I featured him in my last video, but I just gotta say, this thing is so much fun to use. If you haven't made a team with it, if you haven't used Sinclair's team, which is freaking everywhere on the ladder, I highly recommend you do it because it is just so much fun. Bisharp is so good right now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Make sure to subscribe, give me a like. I really appreciate when you guys like my videos. It gives me the incentive to upload them, and I like to get at least one every day or two. So if you like them, then I'll know that you enjoy them, and it'll make me want to upload more. But anyway, like I said, make sure you subscribe, give me a like, and I will see you guys later.